The StarCraft 2 community is on fire right now. The new patch, it's created a lot of heated debate, and I can't help but notice that there's a worker missing inside of the main base of our Protoss player. Oh no. Spotting right here, in the bottom right, of 10,000 feet, playing in red, we have none other than Classic. His opponent in this best of 3 series, playing with the blue Terran pieces, we're looking inside of the main base of Gabe, also known as HeroMarine. What is this, Classic? What are we doing right now, Classic? Really? Are we gonna be sending the Zealots? Dude, I love it whenever pro gamers do a little bit of like low-key balance winding as well. Most of them are not particularly vocal, but they show it in their gameplay. Now, I don't want to read into this all too much. Maybe Classic genuinely believes that this is the way to play. We do have a gas geyser on the back of this as well, but the mech specs build, I mean, I guess this is not the official old school mech specs build, but we just really haven't seen it much. The original mech specs opener, the one that made him famous like 6-7 years ago or so, was a pylon in the main base, proxy pylon on the other side of the map, and then a gateway. This, oh, okay, is a more aggressive variant of exactly that. This is just the classic double proxy gate? Or triple proxy gate? What's the plan, Classic? Oh, it's a cyber core. Okay, sure. We never made a pylon at home, so since we're going gas, I guess it makes sense to then also proxy the cyber core. This is one of the big changes, of course, since you don't need a pylon nearly as early here. We can, of course, with starting workers being down to 8, we can delay certain things a little while. So apparently we've gone double proxy gateway, proxy cybernetics core as well. And in the meantime, Terran, well, we're only just now starting up a little bit of additional production. He did not go for an SCV scout. Will he go for a Marine on the back of this? No, it's going to be straight reactor. We're rushing a Stalker together with a Zealot. I was going to say that the timing here of that gas doesn't really line up. Classic needed a little bit more Vespene in order to actually be able to pump out units here 2 at a time. I think he really wanted to be making a couple Stalkers at once. Decided to cancel the second Zealot for just a moment and then restart it up again. This is by no means the most refined build order here from Classic, but he's gonna have to deal with a single Reaper. At this point, of course, Gabe, HeroMarine, will realize what in the world is going on, and at the very least, he'll be very suspicious about the lack of anything inside of the main base, and that's because we already have the units knocking at the front door of the Terran player's main. Bunker coming up, but I mean, this is going to deal a lot of damage, right? I mean, the Stalkers will have a great time. Second Stalker will be coming in just a moment. Shield battery in the meantime is done, so a lot of the probes should be able to survive. Double Marine will be available in just a second, but Stalkers will have an easy time. That bunker absolutely needs to finish. Okay, it is going to finish. Oh, hey, you gotta remove the scaffolding. There we go. Now we just wonder, at what cost? Supply depot will go down. Protoss units are just gonna sneak through. And even though a lot of people are saying that Protoss may be unplayable and that the patch is not gonna allow any sort of early game aggression anymore, that it will not increase any early game variety, well, at least the games that I've seen, they seem to be indicating the exact opposite. Classic, I think, has just won the game with the dirtiest cheese that I've seen a high-level Protoss player go for in a high-level game in probably all of 2026. There's really no way that you're going to recover from this as a Terran player, right? Am I mistaken? I mean, Double Mule was really good, but not quite that good. And that will take us to a washout. Game number 2 in this best of 3 series. No probe moving out right at the very beginning of the game. Now, it's important to note that this particular best of 3 was played on the day that the new patch went live. As a matter of fact, this particular series, or this particular tournament rather, had a patch update in the middle of it. So, a lot of the strategies are very much so still undiscovered. I don't think we can really draw any real conclusions for at least another couple of weeks. But there's no denying that, yeah, Classic went for some dirty builds. And clearly, it worked out for him. He did the same thing as well against young Yakov, where he ended up proxying 3 gateways inside of the Zerg's natural expansion. Now, sadly for him, he was going up against the 12 pool. So, we've seen Zerg players get very cheesy. We've now also seen Protoss players get very cheesy too. No Terrans, though, that are really being hyper-aggressive early on, other than that match that we saw from Clem on the very first PTR, where he went for an 8 supply depot, 8 supply proxy barracks, and then 8 supply refinery in the main base. That particular build was really quite cool. I don't really know exactly if it's got any real staying power, but the Terrans have been, well, at least figuring out a little bit of shenanigans as well. Not the case, though, here for Gabe this time around. The double refinery here inside of the main base is indicative of him wanting to go for a quick factory. I say that as if that means he can't be aggressive. Usually, of course, it will allow you some cyclones out on the map, but at least in the previous patch, it would lead to a command center reasonably early, too. But this certainly is going to be leading to a quick factory. No SCV scouts, trade Reaper yet again. We'll probably be mining 100 Vespene, and then I would imagine we'll pull a few of the SCVs out, but we'll have to keep an eye out. Classic, in the meantime, did go for a pylon in the main base, gateway, cybercore, and then eventually, there we go, a nexus on the low ground too. With the latest version of the patch, and the one that is now currently live in SC2, they have moved the warp gate research from the gateway back onto the cybernetics core. So, in case you haven't read the patch notes, or maybe you haven't been completely in the loop, to be fair, things have been changing pretty quick, so I can't really blame you. But yeah, they have no longer got to, Protoss players that is, they no longer have to research warp gates inside of the actual gateway itself, which just created a lot of problems here. We are, by the way, on Washout LE. LE, of course, meaning Ladder Edition. This is one of the brand new ladder maps from the TLMC, the Team Liquid map contest. A very unexplored map across the board, but it's nice to see a bit of variety. It's the map with the gigantic rocks on the minimap. These are always the ones that stand out to me on the minimap right at the very beginning of the game. There's indeed the factory. We did indeed pull 3 SCVs out of gas. That means we're going to slowly sprinkle in some more mineral production, which is going to allow him to get a command center building right over here on the low ground. Now, would you look at that? Classic actually going for a Stargate opener in this matchup. Adept trying its absolute best. We'll see the timing of the command center here. We'll see the Reaper, and then, of course, also the Hellion. It's going to force Classic here to be a little bit more defensive. You really don't want to be losing a unit here early on. Stargate builds, though, in PvT, at least over the last couple of years, pretty uncommon. I've always been a big fan of the Phoenix openers in particular. I've always liked Phoenix into Colossus, Phoenix into charge slots. I think it's a really fun build, but it has lost a lot of popularity. Oh, we're gonna go Oracle first. Okay. We could still go Oracle and then into a couple Phoenixes on the back of this as well. Fair enough. Here we go, though. The raiding party has arrived. This is what HeroMarine has been cooking up in the early game. Looks like we're just gonna be dealing with the Protoss units for now. This is, of course, where an Oracle can be quite handy. Just having the Oracle activated Spalstar Beam is already a big deal, because it means it will have less energy to deal damage on the other side of the map. Oracle is indeed going to be forced to reroute itself for just a moment. And not only is this going to activate the energy there on that Oracle, well, it's also going to give Terran a lot of time to react. Marines can get into position. We are getting a reactor here as well, or a tech lab rather, onto the factory. So if we really wanted to, we could also go into a Cyclone here. Yep, Cyclone here for safety is a good idea. The lock-on, very powerful. Not enough Marines available at the moment, but keep in mind, if you activate Pulsar Beam again, the Oracle can really only fire for a handful of seconds. Okay, he is going to activate it again. Oh, there's the Medevac. Yeah, nice little bit of healing, nice little bit of pickup micro. Excellent defense there by our German Terran. So now we're going for a Phoenix. Okay. Phoenix into a robo facility, and then a third nexus as well. Gotta be careful here with the positioning on that pylon, man. I was getting a little anxious. Thought for a second that this was indeed going to be blocked. Not the case. Observer. Robo bay inside of the main base. So the idea is to effectively now use these Phoenixes to leverage the early game into a Colossus mid game. What's kind of nice, though, is that, of course, this will be a Marine follow for Gabe, so he really wants to be building up as many Marines as possible, and that's exactly where that Colossus hits so freaking hard. It's a bit of a risky build here for Classic, but I think he gets away with it. I don't really see any way for Terran to move out right now and really deny this, because the Phoenix has forced the Protoss here to sit, yeah, quite aggressively out onto the map. It's Gonna give Protoss here all of the map control early on. There's not really a whole lot Gabe can do unless he feels like he can sneak out with a medevac or something along those lines. So this is gonna force a bit more of a macro-focused game. Oh, nicely done. Observer there, providing the tail end of the detection. Yep. And by the time the Terran can really move around the map, by the time the Terran can really be aggressive yet again, there will already be a Colossus out. Okay. Now, this is one of the builds that we may very well see a lot more moving forward, right? The default of going like Blink Stalkers, which is what we've been seeing over the last few years in PvT, it just doesn't really seem to hit as hard. Maybe Protoss players will figure it out, though. Already, this is kind of funky, right? So, did he actually research warp gates? Yeah, he did. So, the latest edition of the warp gate research, it does two things. First off, you can now choose to transform your gateway into a warp gate for 25 minerals, 25 gas each. Meaning that you have to basically spend a lot of resources now to turn every single one of those gateways into warp gates. What it also does do, however, is that it makes the gateway's normal production speed up by 40%. So if you now want to make, for example, a Zealot or a Stalker out of a regular gateway, it comes out 40% quicker because of the Cybercore research. Yeah, so look, this is just going to be building so fast now. This is without a Chrono Boost. You can, of course, also bundle this with Chrono Boost. Just going to make it pop out real soon. And while it's forcing, as we do have a little bit of harassment, it's forcing Protoss players to figure out the early game yet again, and it's by no means refined enough to really draw any true conclusions. I really don't know if this means that, like, Protoss is no longer able to be aggressive early on, man. That seems to be what especially Reddit is talking about. And maybe they turn out to be right. But I've always kind of thought that regular gateways are really cool too, right? Like, having to make the decision whether or not you want to be able to warp in, or if you want to be able to defensively play just regular gateways, I think is really neat. I have no idea if this patch is going to work out favorably, for Protoss especially. Maybe it's going to need some follow-up buffs, but I do enjoy the overall concept. I do think it's a good idea. So let's see. I don't think this push can really do too much, though, for Gabe, can it? These Colossi are going to have a grand old time, man. There's obviously Phoenixes up in the air, which means that the Vikings will not have an easy time cleaning up all of the Colossi. As a matter of fact, at this point, the Phoenixes will win the fight. We had a second Stargate and now also a Fleet Beacon added into the mix, too. Is this for Tempest or Anion Pulse Crystals? Anion Pulse Crystals in PvT, very funky, but it's certainly an option. It's the ranged upgrade for those Phoenixes. Gabe, though, is carving a nice little path. Classic, weirdly enough, created a bit of a funnel over here with shield batteries. He's backing up and effectively allowing the entire army to get saved. Phoenixes did go for a little bit of a move out. Colossi are roasting whatever they can. Phoenixes now lift up one of the tanks. Vikings have a difficult time to really get much done. Did Gabe overextend? Is this okay? It's a bloody battle, I can tell you that much. The big laser giraffes, though, are still shooting whenever they can hit anything. Yeah, and now is when you would like to warp in a round of Stalkers, right? Like, this looks like an excellent moment to be able to warp in like 6, maybe 7 Stalkers or so. Annual Pulse Crystals indeed coming up, man. That's a ranged upgrade for those Phoenixes. All the Phoenixes, though, have died. Probes have been pulled away. You know what? I actually thought... Nice little bit of pickup micro again by HeroMarine, saving the tank, killing more probes. I actually didn't really believe in this fight very much from Gabe, but I've been proven otherwise. Yeah, I've been proven incorrect. He kills the Protoss army, and he also kills a lot of probes to boot. Do we actually commit to this now? One of the most significant changes, by the way, with the new patch is that now all of the music for SC2 and then also for SC1 actually has been added to the replay casts. So the tunes playing in the background, you may not recognize them. They have been officially part of StarCraft 2 since, well, they were made. But they were never enabled for use in multiplayer games. Apparently when Legacy of the Void and the Nova Covert Ops and whatnot got added, they never actually updated the sound library for Legacy of the Void or for multiplayer in 1v1. And now they have. We're only about a decade late, literally. Well, better late than never, I suppose. It's nice, though, to have a bit of variety there, too. Excellent fights here by Gabe. He gets the job done, kills 2 Nexi as well. Now he has to worry about the counterattack. Classic, of course, has been pumping units out of those gateways. Yeah, and the Phoenixes, with their little ranged improvement, are actually incredibly dangerous now. He can lift up the siege tank, kill all of that. In the meantime, the Terran army is using Stimpaks to try and run all the way back home. This is a crazy counterattack here for Classic, effectively just throwing the kitchen sink at the opponent. Immortal here targets down one of the valued supply depots. He's gonna recall whatever he can. One of the Phoenixes got caught up in that circle too. Honestly, not a bad counterattack. Siege tank and then also a bunch of SCVs dying. In the meantime, a new Nexus is building. It's a bit weird, right? How we're fighting across the map without any sort of Twilight Council upgrades at all. Should we not be getting a Twilight Council at all? Like, are we just gonna play... I don't know, what do you call this? Like, Protoss Mech? Right? Like, we play Protoss Mech here? Is that what we call it? I'm open to other suggestions for names. But this is just like a bunch of units here for... yeah, I guess like a mineral dump. But really, the main army is Colossi together with Phoenixes still. Protoss Mech. Peck. Mechos. I don't know. We need a better name, but this is weird. Mechos? Mechos, I guess, does sound kind of like MechOS. Look at this. We're going into... maybe this is just Skytles with Colossi? I mean, also weird. It's still early days on the new patch, man. Nobody really knows what they're doing. If anybody claims to have the final word on balance, call them out on their BS, okay? Nobody knows. Like, I would not be surprised if this patch turns out to be such a huge buff to Protoss that, like, nobody else can play anything, or that it turns out to be an absolute disaster for Protoss, and Protoss will never be able to win a tournament ever again. You know, like, I feel like it's one of the two, and I can't tell. I watch a lot of StarCraft, talk a lot about StarCraft. I have no clue. It's too early to say. It does, if you want to know my thoughts, it does kind of feel like Protoss may have gotten the short end of the stick, but again, I think it's really too early to say. There's the mothership coming up. So we're really not wanting to make a Twilight Council and dump 100 gas as well into charge slots? Am I seeing this correctly, Classic? It's weird. 4th Nexus gets rebuilt. There's starport number 3, by the way, here for Gabe. Gabe, he knows he needs to be fighting fire with fire. I've been keeping my camera, by the way, a lot on the Protoss here, but it's mostly because the Terran strategies are not as changed. It's a lot more tried and true. Man. This is where Phoenix builds are actually so terrifying. Even deep into a game, the fact that they can just, like, go into a mineral line, lift up half the workers, kill them all, and then be back home in time as well to defend, is kind of insane. Full Skytles transition, by the way, underway. Look at the production tab right now. What in the world, man? We saw a Carrier, a Colossus, and then a Tempest, additional Stargates, and all the rest of it. This really is Protoss Mech. It's really a new way to play Protoss. What in the world is this? It's like the Colossi. I have a little hat. The hat happens to be your mom. Wait, that's... no, the mothership, rather. The Liberator transition, though, is amazing here. I think we need a lot of Vikings. Like, that's kind of the weird thing, right? Playing this sort of style, like playing Skytles in general against Terran is kind of funky. Because Liberator Viking really is incredibly strong. +1 air coming right up. Fusion Core coming right up, too. This is likely for Liberator ranged, but you know what? Buff the Battlecruiser for all I care. I would love to see more Battlecruiser play. Okay, Gape is maxed. He fires up 2-2. He's got an additional starport coming, but this is an attack that's really quite scary. Because this is a... It's a weird Protoss army, not just because of the new patch, but also because Colossi usually work really well when they have a little bit of, like, bulk in front of them. And that's where those... Like, how in the world is Protoss gonna hold this? That's where those Zealots normally are so important. Mama activates her cloaking. Phoenix has come through as well. He wants to kill all of the Phoenixes before committing with the siege up on the libs. Yep, and that should be right about right now. Actually, he's using the Liberators for anti-air. What? These are like budget Valkyrie, dude. And you know what? It's not terrible. Wait a second. All we're missing now is the Valkyrie sound effect from StarCraft Brood War. Triple carrier coming up, though. No charge. Only 3 gateways. We never really see Liberators used for their air-to-air, but it does actually deal quite a bit of damage. So it deals splash damage to clumped up units especially, right? It's not that significant, but I guess against interceptors, when the Colossi are kind of head bumping against one another, it's not terrible. You know what? I thought that fight was going to go better for Gabe. It's weird. I look at these interactions and I think it's going to be better for Terran the second time around, and that it was going to be better for Protoss the first time around when they fought over the third. I was wrong on both accounts. Huh. There's the Liberator range coming up. Additional carriers coming in. Can you mix in a few ghosts here? Ghosts with EMP would be really good. Keep in mind that ghosts are an entirely different... Yeah, okay. Keep in mind that ghosts are like an entirely different unit. I think ghosts make a lot of sense. But really just as a spellcaster, I think you can make like 3. If you make more than that, it's gonna take too much supply. There's 3 supply each right now. It's really expensive. Plus 3 air weapons, also researching here for Classic. Should he be going second Cybercore? Yeah, he actually does have one right over here. It was actually on my screen. I just didn't see it. Very nice. Yeah, double Cybercore makes a lot of sense. Just get those upgrades rolling ASAP. He also wants to go into the Templar Archives and then Storm. So Storm is going to be the next big thing here for Protoss. Who's effectively just going for, I guess, Protoss Mech into Skytals with Storm. I mean, that last part we've seen quite a bit, but it's never been particularly crazy against Terran, because look at the Viking count. 24 Vikings. At this point, Gabe can just point at whatever he wants to die. Literally, if you attack move, well, not so much attack, but if you attack move on an individual unit, carriers get one-shot here. If you have an entire volley like that, though, as we have 2 Zealots without charge, nearly 20 minutes into the game, trying their absolute hardest. Yeah, the Vikings just destroy this. Okay. So what we really need here is Storm, but of course, that's also where those ghosts are really good. High-sec auto-tracking is going to be done for Gabe. Those are the luxury late-game upgrades for Terran. You don't really care that much about him. We have, by the way, mostly given up on Liberators for now. I think the plan is probably to blast through all of the Skytals units. And then maybe... So it's... I say that, right? But I have to catch myself in the middle of that sentence. Because normally what happens... what happens in these type of scenarios is that the Vikings absolutely destroy the Skytals army. And then Protoss does a gigantic warp-in with Stalkers. Classic can't. He never made gateways. He's only got 3 of them in total in this game. He doesn't have charge. What is he gonna do? Make slow blink Stalkers out of 3 gateways? Nah, not gonna happen. So maybe we want to keep up with the Viking production. Anyways, here we go again. Absolute bloodbath here. That's another base, though, that is gonna get cut off. Tempest would really like to be able to shoot at their maximum range. I would love to see a couple Oracles added into the mix for Revelation. 2 more bases over here at the bottom, by the way. Very easy pickings for Classic, or for Gabe, rather, but Classic is hiding them quite well. No, Gabe, you should go check. Oh, no. Well, Classic will be happy. Those were true, yeah, those were 3 free bases here, effectively. Difficult to, I wanted to say 3 and 2 at the same time, by the way. I made a new number. Through. Just like Protoss Mech. Peck. Or Mechos. Yeah, we need something. We need new language in order to describe the new patch. Don't you just win the game with literally just Vikings? Literally all the units here died to Vikings. I mean, maybe not the High Templar so much, but seriously, Vikings, 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 Vikings is all you need. You can effectively play mono battles. You could kill all of the units up in the air and then land the Vikings in order to kill all of the... Yeah, just sacrifice this supply too and make more Vikings. Okay, he's losing the supply. What are we replacing it with? More Vikings? We have starport number 5, by the way. Couple of Vikings. Couple of ghosts. That's all we truly need. Gabe also taking a page out of the Zork playbook here. Usually we see this in the late game in Zork versus Protoss with Spore Crawlers. Missile turrets, I guess, are pretty much the same thing. 5 additional command centers being built. So Gabe is actually willing to let this go all the way to the late game. Kind of weird, by the way. Like, we don't usually see a ton of late game in this particular matchup. One of the two players just sort of tends to die before that point. Like, it's very straightforward to push an advantage. But it's clear here that neither player really wants to take any chances. But yeah, Gabe is just remaxing with mass Viking. We're just going Vikings. He's effectively playing mono battles. Normally I'd be criticizing it, but literally all these units die to Vikings. Is there a point? Is there a point where you want to have 2 control groups of Vikings because you're overkilling things? The problem is if Gabe has like 50 Vikings on one control group, he's gonna, if he wants to target down, for example, a carrier, he's gonna deal enough damage with that army to kill 2 carriers, right? Like, he'd actually be overshooting. A weird problem that we haven't really encountered much. As a bunch of SCVs are dying. Where are SCVs dying? Oh, he's killing his own workers! Oh, he's even killing Metafix. Yeah, we want to replace them with more Vikings and then a couple more ghosts. We had a bit of a firing squad right there on the side of our German Terran. Don't say it, Loco. No. Anyways. Command Center wants to move down to the bottom of the map. Not gonna happen. Another Command Center, though, is in a world of trouble. Liberators will force some of this army to back off. That's really, I guess, why the Liberators are here. The Liberators are mostly here to prevent the Colossus from tiptoeing all the way forward. Oh no, Protoss is stuck. Wait a second. Classic is stuck in a corner. This is not enough space to be storming, is it? We're gonna be microing those Vikings as if they are corruptors. Gape is not really sending them into the right spot though, is he? Bro, he's dancing in the storm. Should you not be doing the thing that corruptors do and micro the Vikings into the Protoss army there? It feels extremely counterintuitive, but it prevents the Protoss storms from being able to deal damage to the Terran army alone. Protoss would have to storm their own units. That was a major mistake from Gabe, but I can't really blame him because how often has he been in that situation before? That was a gigantic amount of losses there on the side of the Terran. I think what he needed to do was micro the Vikings into the Protoss army. You want to pick him off at maximum range at some point, but when you get stormed, oh my god, mass recall towards the mothership right before Mama ends up going down. That's apparently the moment where a bunch of the Stalkers show up as well. Still though, there's so much Terran available. And I think ultimately, as he lands the Vikings, Protoss is going to be pushed back. But that was way more losses on the side of the Terran than I think he really needed to. Can we have a look at the army size? Maybe I'm wrong though, it's hard to say. Again, these fights are difficult to predict, but I really think he ate too many storms. Usually Protosses aren't too keen on storming their own units. So one of the ways in which you can negate the storm damage is by flying your flying army into their base, into their army. It's weird, but I think that fight should have gone better. Still no charge. 25 minutes charge, baby. Let's go. Scanning the main base reveals. Good old charge. Good old carriers. So, even though I feel like Gabe has been winning pretty much all the battles up until the last one, I don't really know if he's winning the war. One of the big problems here for Terran is that he doesn't have enough income. Like, he's got a lot of mules now and he's landing them, that's sweet. But he's a little late, right? Like, he was planning on having won this game by now. He literally executed some of his own SCVs to open up more supply. And I think he's regretting it now. He was planning on this game being over, and instead it goes on. That now means that Classic's income, or his economy, right? This income level is still good enough. Like, he's getting a very cost-effective army. Still, though, it's been slightly more cost-efficient for Terran across the board. Classic has been expanding wherever he can. Keep in mind also that Gabe did not snipe 2 bases when they were open for it to get sniped. 2 easy pickings that he never quite capitalized on. Well, this base is not going to be happening. Both players slowly remaxing. But I'm looking at the bank, and I like what I see for Classic a lot better. Then again, though, interceptors do, of course, cost minerals. Recall yet again. Sending some of these units for the base defense all the way up north. In the meantime, the gateway units are down south. Do we have Blink? We do have Blink. It's not a question I normally ask myself a half hour into a Protoss game, but... you never know. Should you be going Dark Templar with Blink instead at this stage of the game? Could be. Here's the Colossus again, man. Such a weird unit composition here for Classic, who's now awkwardly making that transition off of just 8 gateways, by the way, to a pretty ground toss heavy army. There's the Sky Fleets again, though, for both players. Colossi in a weird spot. Good EMP. Oh, lovely snipes there as well by Gabe. Yeah, and the zoning here for Terran is good yet again. That will be another Nexus. Probably could have prevented the probes from escaping like that. Another missed opportunity here for the Terran. Handful of Zealots trying their absolute best. Oh, we're right-clicking a command center? I don't know about that, dude. I'm pretty sure there's enough command centers in this game. In the meantime, though, one of them is in some trouble. That's the planetary fortress going down. I'm sure one of those orbital commands can take its place in just a moment. But positionally, nice advantage here for Classic. Gabe, in the meantime, running around the right side of the map, and he will be able to find another Nexus. Yep. This time around, he does prevent it from escaping. Nexus over here gets cancelled as well. And this is a crazy game of PvT, man. Big oversight, by the way. We've never had the +3 armor, apparently, for the mech units. I can't really blame Gabe for it, because this has been a super scrappy game. Now he's the one with more resources available. Nexus there gets busted by just a single hit. In the meantime, we have another Nexus getting so much damage taken, and I think that will be another base down the drain. Okay, so suddenly this has knocked Classic back to the Stone Age. What do we do now? Option 1, we try to expand again and hope for the best. Option 2, we create a death ball. 1 attack for all the marbles. I don't really hate option B very much, man. We could also try and do a little bit of both. It's just that Gabe will have more mining here, mostly because of the mules as well. He will have, well, mules for days if he finds a mineral line that he can harvest. That will be another Nexus down. Gabe is doing a phenomenal job, actually, just controlling the battlefield. Storm over here, forced to back up some of these units. Cloak gets activated on Mama, a little bit preemptive. Viking count is so big. Still, though, now we have Stalkers out. The Stalkers are at +3 attack, but no armor research. Kind of weird. Cloak is just about to run out, isn't it? Right as the beginning of the engagement. Big storm again! Walk out of the storms or fly out of them! The storms are absolutely tearing that Terran army apart. Yes, it got nerfed, by the way, with Dispatch. from 110 damage to 100, but that was so much damage taken there on the Terran army. He must have been preoccupied with something else at the same time, but that is the second time in his match. Just really Marauders remaining over here on the ground. 10 Vikings in the meantime are reinforcing all of this. Here's the rest of the Terran army that was previously on the counteroffensive coming back home. Classic has now wedged his army into like the intersection, right? This is where all of these armies converge, and when units spawn, they spawn on move command. They don't spawn on attack move. Oh no. That really was supposed to be a Terran win in more ways than one. I can't believe Classic just won this. That's crazy. There were multiple engagements in this game that I think could have gone so much better for Terran. But then they didn't. So let me get this straight. Game number 1, proxy double gate on the other side of the map. Game number 2, the longest macro game, like a half-hour long match of TVP that I've seen in some time.